So what's the point of showing a real finished Ableton Live project on the M3 16GB MacBook Air when we recently got new M4 Macs released? Well, the M4, depending on the model you get, is more powerful and faster than the M3. So if a project works fine on the M3 MacBook Air, it will certainly work fine on the M4 as well. I have an M4 Pro MacBook Pro on the way, and we're going to test that very soon as well. I also want to show the efficiency difference in CPU usage using a powerful PC with a power-hungry CPU compared to the very efficient M3 MacBook Air. The track I'm using today is a finished, almost finished track I'm going to release next year. It's using 13 different synthesizers: Diva, The Legend, Serum. That's the main synths I use. And almost every one of the 28 tracks have stuff like FabFilter Q3 plugins, like multiple instances of Soothe 2, FabFilter Saturn 2, LFO Tool, and some other plugins here and there, some delay and some reverb. Watch the entire playthrough of the track later in the video, where I show you more on what is on the actual tracks in this track. What you see now is playing the most busy part of the track, and we can take a look at the audio buffer percentage meter on the top there between these two systems. As you can see, the M3 MacBook Air with its really efficient power-saving mobile CPU is using around 55 to 61% audio buffer, while the AMD CPU also seems like it's using the same kind of audio buffer. It's actually seems like it's using a bit more, 55 to 63% of the audio buffer. Later in the video I will have a full playthrough of this track on the M3 MacBook Air with CPU usage, so you can see how it works in real time, and you can see what's on the actual tracks as well. If you like this type of videos, the best way to support what I do is use some of the affiliate links I have below to, for example, Amazon, or you can watch this video to the end. That's it. Watching the video to the end is actually more important than clicking like or subscribe, but of course you can do that as well. If you look at the actual CPU usage, we can see that while playing the track on the M3 MacBook Air, it is using about 35 to 40% of CPU usage of the entire system, according to Activity Monitor. On the PC, however, it sits around 11 to 12% CPU usage, according to Windows Task Manager. The total memory usage on the MacBook Air in this project is around 12 gigabytes. So that means 16 gigabytes is enough for this project, and on the PC it's around 14 gigabytes. The next thing I did was duplicating the entire project to see how many times I could duplicate it without getting any crackles or sound problems. On the MacBook Air, it could barely play back some of the parts without crackling after duplicating it one time, but it was right on the edge, and you can hear some crackle in some busy parts of the track. On the PC, however, after 3 duplicates, so that's 4 copies of the track, I started hearing crackling, but the interesting part here is that the total CPU usage of the entire system did not increase much over 50% on the PC Windows system. So you would think that if your system have 50% of the resources available, it should be able to handle more tracks and more plugins in Ableton Live, but that is not the case here, at least. My takeaway here is that for most type of projects I do for music production, the MacBook Air is very capable of handling most of what I throw at it. Now, this project we are looking at today is quite right on the edge on what this machine is capable of what I do. If I'm going to add more tracks and do some more plugins here, it will certainly start crackling, and I have to increase the buffer sizes. By the way, in this test I'm using 512 buffer size, and yeah, if I had to add more tracks to this project, I had to increase the buffer to 1024. But since I produce only in the box, that's really no issue. Now, I have the 14-core M4 Pro on the way. It's actually being delivered later today, so I will test that in another video. Another interesting thing that I also did, I did a quick test using Cubase and Ableton. When I started pushing Cubase, I could see that it takes advantage of the MacBook Air's efficiency cores as well. I didn't hear any crackle when it was using the efficiency cores. And this is just a basic project with a Serum synthesizer, just duplicated a few times. It was working quite well, actually. Reaper is also a DAW that works like this, that utilizes efficiency cores. So using the same Serum synthesizer with the same patch and settings in Ableton Live, I got less tracks compared to Cubase before it started crackling. But again, Ableton Live doesn't use efficiency cores, and it is probably because of the nature of the DAW being aimed at live performances as well. You need that power right away if you're playing live. So I think that is why it's important to take these tests with a small grain of salt. I mean, I am no DAW testing expert. I mainly try these things and show you what happens on my YouTube channel. My thoughts about this are my own, and you know, some of the conclusions might be considered speculation as well. You have to do your own research, and you have to probably watch more videos to create an image on how this computer works in what you are going to use them for. So here is the full playthrough of the track on the M3 MacBook Air 16GB. So the AMD 7950X CPU has served me very well, and I think this video shows you that if you are mainly into PCs and Windows, you can have a good and balanced system if you go for the AMD 7950X, and I think you can have it for under $500 as well now. You could also try some of the newer CPUs from AMD. As far as I know, the problems with alot and licensing software for some of the plugins has been solved on these CPUs. You just have to make sure that you have your BIOS and drivers and everything up to date if you go that route. But on the 7950X, the older AMD, you don't have these issues at all. If you are more geared towards the Mac, you clearly see that even some of the entry-level machines that Apple has can run some decently sized projects without any huge issues. And when I played back my track, well, I could hear some slight crackling if I was doing something else with the computer while I was playing back the track, but other than that, it was working fine. I have the 14-core M4 Pro incoming, and I will do some tests on that as well. So if you have any specific things you want me to test, share them in the comments below and I will try to get to it. And I just want to take the opportunity to thank everyone, you who is watching this video and my previous videos about testing Apple in music production and yeah, some other videos as well. Some of the earnings from the videos has made it possible for me to buy some of these Apple machines, not outright obviously because it's expensive, but for a lower price obviously. And that way I can still do these unbiased tests and reinvest it into this channel. So yeah, again, thank you, and that's just what I wanted to say. Anyways, take care, and I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.